Hey, church, it never fails that every week there's things that are in my sermon rough draft that never make the final cut. This is one, though, that I thought would maybe warrant a short video just to talk a little bit about the name of God. The word that God gives Moses is 4 letters long, and we pronounce it Yahweh. But here's some trivia for you. In ancient Hebrew, they didn't write any vowels. If you were literate in Hebrew, you just knew how things were pronounced with the consonants. And so what we have is 4 consonants. It's called the tetragrammaton. It's the 4 letters. That's the name of God. And it's in English, it would be YHWH, or in Hebrew, it's Yod He Vav He. Here it is. And Hebrew reads from right to left. So there you go. There it is. That's all you get. But later in history, about the 7th century AD, they added what's called vowel pointing. And that was putting some like small symbols underneath the consonants that would maybe describe how to pronounce it. So now, great. Now we know how to pronounce it, except that by the time that had been done in the 7th century, for some amount of time, we don't even know how long, in Judaism, it was determined that to honor the name of God, you would not actually say the name of God out loud. And so they didn't add vowel pointing for this word. You'll notice the word doesn't have anything underneath it, right? And that's so that you wouldn't be tempted to say it. And instead, you would insert, when you got to that word, you'd insert a different name for God, like Adonai or Elohim, or maybe Hashem, which means the name. But the plot thickens. In the Middle Ages, Christians added the vowels. But the Jews were substituting usually the word Adonai for Yahweh. That was kind of the common practice. So Christian translators mistakenly took the consonants for Yahweh and they added the vowels from Adonai. And you'll see what happens when you do that. And this does get confusing also because the J and the Y sound similar. The W and the V sound similar, or treated kind of contemporaneously. And so I noticed that happens in other languages too. I noticed a little bit of V and W swapping going on when I was in Poland. But these, when you put all that together and you get the consonants from one word with the vowels from the other word, Adonai, then you get the word Jehovah. That means that the word Jehovah didn't exist until the Middle Ages. And it's based on a confusion over vowels. Now, there's lots of controversy over that, and not everybody would agree with what I just said. There's more to the story. But I think the irony is that something as straightforward as the one word 4-letter name of God has become this centuries-long controversy over how to pronounce a word that some people think shouldn't be pronounced in the first place. So there's some interesting linguistic trivia for you. You're welcome. But for what it means, that is what we talked about in the sermon, and you can go back and listen to it. Hope you will, and I hope you have a good week. Thanks. Bye.